Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shit Show podcast with Matt Thomas, Greg Berman, and Joe Cocazello sitting
Joe.
I'm just kidding.
Joe.
Joe Gruesome Bubich. And
I like the new look, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, you look great.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Good.
No, this is Ellen Rock. She is our social media coordinator and manager. Ellen Rock, say hi to everybody. So Joe tonight couldn't join us because he is at a show, but he may be calling in a little bit later. But we thought, fuck it, let's do the podcast anyway. So here we are. We're also live on Periscope right now. You can check that out at Berman Comedy. So it's my Periscope because I have like the most fans. So
You're so popular.
Congratulations.
God, you guys, Greg is the best.
I knew that was going to happen.
Ugh.
So we are live on Periscope, so you can check us out on Periscope. We're going to try to situate it in such a way that eventually we're going to be able to Periscope for you guys, and we're going to hook it up to a TV so we can see what you're actually saying, so we can respond to you live as you're mentioning and talking on Periscope. But right now we don't have that set up. We need to get a TV in the studio. We're working on that, so it's all part of the building process.
Next week?
We're going to try to have it by
Yeah.
next week. We need to find a TV. So if you are watching this podcast and would like to donate a TV,
Oh, actually,
It's on
I
our
have a
Amazon
TV
wish list.
that you could use
has a
because I'm not
TV
using it. It's
that we can
sitting in a
use
corner, wrapped
that
up in the
It's
corner.
an old
She
console one.
is not. No, it's like.
It's
is it
a
the
flat
one?
screen, but it's like a pretty old.
Is it-
flat
Does
screen.
it have an HDMI cable?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
then we're
TV,
fine.
right?
Yeah.
It's your TV, that little
Yeah.
TV,
The
right?
little one I got?
Oh, fuck
Talk
yeah!
amongst
Okay,
you.
I
we
got
got
it
a,
for free.
A couple Yentas.
yeah, we got a
Coffee
TV. What's going on? Matt's leaving us already.
I'm just checking something.
He's checking something
Matt
to
really
make
doesn't
sure
like me.
that
Okay.
we're okay. Just
Yeah, we
he was
already
checking
got
the
viewers on it.
Periscope. Oh, fuck yeah! So, folks, what's
Sorry.
going on? It's been 2 days since we last spoke. Tonight's a game. There's a football game happening. I wish I had my phone with me. Who's playing? Does anyone know who's playing
No
tonight?
idea.
I can figure it out.
Ellen's gonna be on that. So, so what we're thinking of doing for all of you fantasy football watchers, I'm a huge fantasy football fan, and I think the big thing that we want to do is have like, is it Ravens and Steelers tonight?
Ravens at Steelers, yeah.
Ravens at Steelers, and when does that start? 7:25 p.m. Central.
7:25.
Okay, cool. So we are a huge. I'm a huge fantasy football fan. Matt likes football. Ellen pretends like she likes football.
I like the Packers.
She likes the Packers.
The fuck?
She's from Wisconsin. She's
Okay,
like
all right.
she's
I
like
do
indoctrinated.
All right, that's
football.
fine.
I
It's
just don't like it enough outside
just-
of the Packers for it to be quite
'Cause
to
usually-
Greg's liking.
Because usually when people don't like football, like my wife really doesn't like football, but I'm like, oh, who do you like? I like the Vikings because we have.
Yeah.
So that was just very weird when you're like, I like
No.
the Packers. I'm like, if all of the fucking teams that you
Of all the
pick from-
teams, she picks the
someone that doesn't
easiest
like
one to
football.
like.
No,
Yeah.
I do like football. Just Greg takes me not liking it as much as he does as me not liking
As a
it.
slight.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like you're
Never good
hipster.
enough.
I feel like you're hipster enough that you'd be like, I actually like one of the Canadian League teams.
No,
They're really.
The
Not
CFL.
a real
I
hipster.
feel like you'll be like, you know what? I actually am a big fan of the Titans. They're kind of underrated. No one really appreciates them.
I always forget that the Titans are a thing.
Yeah, I think
They're
everyone.
like, oh yeah, Tennessee's playing. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
I think Tennessee forgets the
You
Titans are a
making
thing.
things up?
Doesn't Bon Jovi own a CFL team?
What does it matter?
He might actually.
It just makes me
Who
not like
knows?
Bon Jovi even more.
The John Bon Jovis.
Yeah.
Is
That's what it
That's the team.
He's that egotistical. It's just an ass.
And now coming to the field, the John Bon Jovis. They don't even have helmets. They just have his hair. That's what they
Yeah.
wear.
Oh God. Oh no.
That's what the helmets
That's what
look
the helmet
like.
looks like. Yeah,
It's his hair.
that's all feathered.
shot through the heart.
Highlighted.
That's their intro music when they run out in the field.
Oh Jesus.
They
I
all
actually
have.
really like that song though.
It's a great song.
It's a fantastic.
They
song.
all have
Just
lyric on the back on their
Yes,
jerseys.
Just a fucking
Mhm.
egomaniac.
Hey, you know what? Here's the deal, though. When you're John Bon Jovi, you kind of get to be. He's been around forever, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
There are Bon Jovi tribute bands that sell out
Yeah.
huge theaters.
Yeah.
If you can generate a tribute band that sells out a theater, dude, congratulations, you won.
Oh yeah.
I don't care about anything else.
Did
Like,
he tweet this out today?
I didn't, but my phone is currently being periscoped.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
You
Son
can
of
log
a
on
bitch.
mine if you want.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
I should tweet
Putz with that.
things and
I don't know.
maybe.
Depending on how long we go, we might take a break too. So well, you could always do that as well. Trying to find a good spot to put my phone because it's gonna vibrate.
It's gonna.
Preferably not my ass.
That's why I have this little
Oh, is that
towel
what that's
here.
for?
It's that the towels for the phones.
I thought
and-
you were just planning on getting really messy.
No,
tonight.
I was planning
I was
on
planning on vomiting.
Everywhere.
No, it's more like a like Luciano Pavarotti, like
Yes, just
A little-
flop sweat.
a little dab, a little dabbing, a little
Casually compared yourself to Pavarotti.
dab
It's
of
just
the.
an interesting choice on a lot of different levels.
Hey, that's his thing. That's his thing. So what we want to do is we want to actually have actually put together a fantasy football segment, and I have a friend whose name is Nick Lindy, and Nick Lindy is a guru. Last year he told me he won thousands of dollars. He said he won $3,000 playing fantasy.
$3,000.
Yep, just from various leagues that and he'll
How
correct me
many-
on that number, but he won at least over 1,000 for sure on just
Okay,
a
but-
football league,
How many leagues is that split up between?
like 5 or 6 leagues.
Okay, so it's not like he's in 50 and
yeah, but still,
$3,000.
that's still huge.
Yeah, no,
You know,
that's awesome.
I think one of his leagues at like $1,000 buy-in. Like at $1,000 buy-in,
Wow.
I'm not sleeping. At $20 buy-ins, I wake up really early
You
on
have-
Sunday. On $1,000 buy-in, as a Jew, that's just difficult for me to be able to just handle. As
But
like
if you were a Gentile, it wouldn't have been a problem.
so much
I
easier.
could do it super easily. What was my fantastic Catholic upbringing?
Exactly.
That's what I was brought up to.
Like,
hey,
hell yeah,
speaking of
let's
that-
do $2,000.
Oh, I watched just really bring this down for a second.
Please do.
I watched a documentary last night on HBO. It
was
was
it
called
Jesus Camp?
My Maxima Culpa, I think it was called. It was about the priest abuse scandals. Oh my fuck,
It's
it is
bad.
bad. I knew it was
It's
bad.
bad.
I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was.
Well,
But-
it's
It all started from really what brought it to light was it started in a
Matt, text Ellen the YouTube password. Just text it to the group so I can. Oh wait, you already did.
yeah.
Okay, I'll.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
No, it started off as like how the whole thing broke is that it was a school for the deaf, and the priest was molesting the boys in the school for the deaf, and they couldn't tell anyone because most of the parents didn't
'Cause-
sign.
that dirtbag.
It was horrible. Like I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have watched this before going to bed.
Were you raised
Yeah.
anything Catholic?
Yeah.
were you raised
I
at all?
just- Were you raised?
Yeah.
Or did you just come to be one day?
Your mom is a fucking
Yeah.
monster if she was able to release this giant into the world.
Really impressive,
What?
honestly.
In one fell swoop, Matt
Yes.
was alive. At 32, what are you, 32?
34.
At 30, you just came out a 34-year-old man.
Yeah.
Walked out.
Wait.
So no, my grandparents were very not. I wouldn't say very religious, but they were pretty active. In the church, and
Like
then
old school Catholics,
Yeah.
like my grandparents.
and then my parents weren't. They weren't active. I just went to a Catholic school, and I think the reason
Oh.
is because my mom felt that would be a better education as far as like smaller class sizes. So
Sure.
that's why I went there. But I mean, we had to go, when I was in Catholic school, we had to go to church. I think it was every Wednesday or every Friday, I think morning was
Sure.
like morning mass. But see, one of the things that they talked about in the movie where I started to think back to when I was a kid, not about actually wondering if I was molested and just blocked out the whole
Oh
thing.
no.
But like one of the things that I actually thought about was they mentioned about
I
moving
have things
priests
to say about that, but I can't quite
instead of prosecuting and stuff like that, they would move the priest. So if
Yeah.
a priest was found being abusive to the kids or whatever,
They
they
just
just
move
move
them
them
somewhere else.
around.
Yeah. Really
And-
just spread the pedophilia.
I was going to say, spread
Yeah.
the love.
spread it
Yeah.
evenly across all of us.
And I remember 2 priests when
I
I
think
went
there's
to
some kids
school.
in Tulsa who could use some touching.
Oh, and then which brings me to my next thing in a minute. But I remember when I was in school, there was
Matt's coming in hot.
2 priests that got moved in. Like when I was going to school there.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of them left and a couple new ones went in. So I always wondered if, okay, did they get moved because of that, or were they moved because they decided to actually pick up and move, or
Sure.
something? But which brings me to my next thing that I was going to mention. The Catholic Church tried to buy an island in the Pacific, and they didn't succeed at the island, but they bought property. and basically it was an island for priests that molested kids to try to get rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And it's a certain group of the church. I forgot what it's called. It's in Latin, but it still exists today, where they go to this spot in the Pacific, not an island again, but they try to get rehabilitated. They try to rehabilitate them. And they were talking about the rehabilitation didn't have anything to do with going to like therapy or anything like that. It was just basically telling them to get on their knees and pray as much as possible for forgiveness.
Well, that's how
God.
Catholics deal with
That's
everything.
how religious people deal with anything.
Well,
It's all prayer.
Catholics
It's like
in particular.
sure.
And I remember one of my friends,
There's just so much wrong
like
with that.
I know that nothing happened, but like one of my friends, I remember growing up when I was in grade school, it seemed like the priest was just a little too close. Like a lot of hugging and stuff like that, where he wasn't doing that to any like other of the kids, you know, or myself, you know, and everyone in the family except for my grandparents, because again, they were pretty religious, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of felt weird about the priest, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess he's still a priest there. He just never moved on.
Here's my question: why is it that that the priests, it's so common for them to go homosexual? Why not girls? Why is it always dudes?
Go ahead. Sorry,
Ellen. Actually,
Greg,
a study I
because
once did.
altar boys. Okay, for a very long time in the Catholic Church, you weren't allowed to be an aide to a priest during a service unless you were a male.
Okay.
And this has been, it's been going on for decades.
Okay.
Which is what I was going to say before. There are very few things that scare me quite as much as like the power of the Catholic Church.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the cover-ups that they are capable of
Right.
like executing are insane.
and they're
when
just
you have
above
their money. I mean, it's
and
like-
they're above the law
Yeah.
too. That's the thing.
It's just, I honestly think, and I mean, if you have something, jump in with that. But I honestly think it's because it's. I mean, you are allowed to be an altar girl now. They do that in certain Catholic churches, but I think it's because the great majority of the children that the priests are around in private are altar boys. And
then with my my
they're
dad,
celibate.
I had a conversation with my dad about this a couple years ago, and my dad's like, when my dad was growing up, my dad's 68. So when my dad was growing up, if you ever came home and said, listen, this priest was touching me, like I didn't like it, your grandparents or my grandparents would have been like, you never say that about a priest.
Yeah.
Right.
Never.
Right.
You know,
it's just this whole culture. And it's almost reminiscent of like the military culture where you don't accuse those above you of doing things like that. You just don't. Like that in and of itself is almost looked at as a sin. Like you don't accuse.
I mean, that's how
because
they're
they're supposed
hazing
to be
works
touched.
too.
I mean, they're literally supposed to be like touched by God. Like,
Right.
They're not just people who have
Right.
decided to do this.
Yep.
They claim to have had
Right.
interaction and
and so the real question is like, what it made you think about more at the end is like, okay, are just the majority of priests pedophiles? Like it's something that happens to them, or are they just pedophiles to begin with, and that's their in to get close to children? That's
No,
what
I
don't
think it's a product of long-term
It's
could be.
repression
It
and
could be.
celibacy and
It could be, but at the same time, there's plenty of people that seek out that are pedophiles that seek out jobs to get them closer to kids.
I'm sure there
People
are
that are
some
like for example, my wife's bus driver, again, never happened to her, but there was a couple people on the bus that did get molested by the bus driver. But that's something where he sought out that position because he would be close to kids.
I'm sure
Right.
there
Camp
are some
counselors,
who
things
are
like that. They will try to get close because that's an access point where there's not parents around.
Yeah, but why? But I think if you're a pedophile and you want to get closer to kids, why take such a high, like a position of someone who
Because
is
no one will
so
question you.
in public?
Well, you also have to go through a lot of training. I think there probably are some that
Yeah.
do fall into that category. I don't know that I would think that it's like the
I just
majority
think-
of
yeah.
them
I think
that
that
are
No,
all
no,
just like,
and
I'm
no.
gonna be a priest so I can touch some
No,
boys.
and I'm not saying
No.
the majority of priests are pedophiles either. I'm just saying that.
right. I also
know.
think that people are kind of shining a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, there's probably a lot of people who are pedophiles. It just happens that we've been really focusing on the priests because that's shitty. Like when you're just a
I mean, you're
pedophile.
supposed to be a person of morality.
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Perfect, not even just morality, but perfect morality.
But think of it this way: when you're a
near perfect.
when you're a bus driver, or when you're just like a janitor and you start touching kids, that's not a story. course, you're
Well,
a
yeah,
fucking bus
yeah.
driver or janitor. But if you're a priest and you're touching kids, people can't like that's a story.
Yeah.
That's like fucking that's notable. That's statistically relevant at this point. So
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of, I look at it kind of in the same way that I look at like the internet right now. I think everyone on the internet keeps people on the internet keep like they keep pointing out like, oh, it looks like there's so much social injustice right now.
Mhm.
Like everyone's being and cops are constantly beating up black kids, like animals keep getting killed, but it's not because it's just happening more now.
We just have more access.
We have
to
more
it.
access to the information and more people can report more things because of the internet.
Well, that's what it was. And the whole breakdown of this movie was at the end. It was because of those kids in that school
Right.
that fought and fought and fought and fought. And then finally there was a breakthrough where they were going to start really looking into it, and lawyers got involved, and then it's all this other
because
shit.
they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, for a
Right.
while, and this is still the case. I mean, they're basically a self-governing body,
Right.
Yeah.
and they have certain privileges
Mhm.
because they're members of that the church can allow them to be prosecuted within the government.
Yeah.
They also have the choice to say, no, we're going to deal with this, and the
I'm
government
gonna grab a
just
glass of water real quick. You guys
backs off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They do have
You
their own
know?
laws.
Which is insane to me. It's insane
Yeah.
that like you very clearly, and it's well documented that you were breaking.
Oh yeah.
And this isn't like stealing a candy bar kind of laws. This
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
you're abusing
bad
children,
yeah.
and they're still letting them handle it when they
Yeah.
know that they're not doing anything. They literally pick them up and move them to a different place, like you were saying, and then they just let them go about their business.
And then
it's
some
like,
of the
well,
and then some of the things they were talking about too was how the opinion of that in the Catholic Church, like some of the people that were higher up the ladder, when it came to dealing with that thing, were basically, some of them were at the mindset where like, these kids will forget about it. They're just kids, and this is not important and whatever else. And it just made me really start to think. I'm like, okay, how many priests moved around?
yeah,
And then another thing that I looked into too was that whole there's a website out there. See, St. John's, Minnesota, or do you know St. John's College in Minnesota? It's right by
yeah.
St. Joe.
Actually,
Okay.
yep.
That is notorious for having pedophiles,
hmm
moving them to there.
hmm
And they still have access to kids because it's a prep school. So,
Mhm.
it's still, I think it's like 9th, 10th, 11th, whatever, freshman through senior.
There's a college, St. John's too.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a college of St. John's,
Mhm.
Right.
but they have a St. John's prep.
Yep.
But they're notorious for moving pedophiles to that, university. And you can go on a website. I think it's Behind the Pine Curtain, and it just talks about everyone that's moved there, that's done something, and just
It's
all
cute that
shit.
Matt pretended like he didn't quite remember it, but he totally remembered.
Yeah. No, I thought it was-
www
I thought it was behind. Yeah,
//
He looked up, like-
semicolon __.
I thought that it was behind the steel curtain, but the steel curtain was from the Steelers. So I'm like, it's behind the pine.
It was
curtain.
just funny because you totally went for it right away. It was just like, you were like,
Yeah.
I think it was. And then you just said it. And it wasn't like an easy website. So it's like
No.
clearly favorited. I mean, you're just checking to see where you're
Yeah.
landing on,
Yeah,
on the rankings, right? Who's the
Yeah,
most
yes.
pedophilic?
high up on that right
Oh yeah,
there.
no, they have. They have things where, it's like the worst offenders and stuff. I mean, kind of like a ranking
Like
of the
really,
worst.
you should probably steer
Yeah.
clear of
of
everyone,
this
but this
fucking
person,
guy. Yeah,
Is a
Really look out
really
for
bad
it.
guy.
exactly.
he's gonna touch you.
He's uncontrollable.
Oh, God.
It's weird, and I think it's interesting because I'm trying to draw some sort of parallel because I really hate to feel like the Catholic Church. I'm trying to think like, well, what about other religions? And I'm thinking about like Judaism, and I can't think of too many rabbis.
Can they marry? Right.
Rabbis can marry, yeah.
Well, that's
See,
one
rabbis
of the
can
fucking
not only
reasons
do
there.
Wants
rabbis
to be celibate.
not
Yeah.
only do rabbis marry, but rabbis have a shit ton of kids, and all their kids
Oh, 'cause
become
they can't-
rabbis.
They can't use prophylactics, can they?
I don't know what the ruling on that is. And I feel like every time we do a podcast, Matt, we end up just having a bunch of Jew questions. And then we get
It's interesting.
and then we get Mendy to come in.
You're speaking to two Gentiles.
Right.
We have no idea.
and then we get Mendy to come in, which, by the way, I got to text Mendy and let him know we got a new podcast because I think he'd be super into it. But maybe I'll get that information for you later. The point is that I can't think of any rabbis, and not that rabbis aren't great. Not that there aren't bad rabbis. I'm sure there's some rabbis who've done some shit that probably they shouldn't have done.
Sure.
But you just hear about it less.
Oh, like sucking the blood out of circumcision boys' penises? That one?
Yeah, I didn't know about
Okay,
that
Greg
until
thinks
he
it's
told me
fucking
about
okay.
it.
Can I get a fucking witness on this? This is so goddamn
I'm not cool
wrong.
with it. I'm all
God.
for tradition. I know there's some weird traditions out there that have been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of
hate that.
years.
The one thing
But my
one thing,
God.
Greg, that I wish you would just be like,
So does
just
everyone-
denounce is that. It's like,
Do we
come
explain this?
fucking
No.
on.
No.
Does everyone know?
I
this
understand
before
there's
we
no,
do it?
I understand there is no, there is nothing sexual behind it, I guess,
Nothing.
but you are still sucking on a
Okay.
fucking
Does
boy.
everyone know
Yeah.
that this happens?
This is
I don't know.
this is an
Listening.
inside.
It's so goddamn
This is an
wrong.
inside-
I didn't
thing.
even know until he told me.
This
What is
an-
it called?
This is an. I don't remember.
I'm
what
not
it's
looking
called.
this up on the new computer.
I don't remember what it's
Someone else
called.
look
No.
at it.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to check out the web results of this coming up.
All right.
This is my work computer. I'm not using
Okay, here we go. This goes back to the Distracted Discourse podcast. We had almost an entire episode about this. We had like an Orthodox Jew call in. So there's this tradition where after a newborn child gets his circumcision that always happens within like days of it happens within days of. Are you doing like a standing desk situation?
I just got to stand for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's like they do this sort of they do this tradition where after having performed the circumcision, the father of the son has to lick or suck.
No,
the
it's not
blood.
the father of the son. It's the
Is it
rabbi.
I thought it was the father.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the father.
Nope, I'm 100% it's a rabbi.
Either
Nope,
way,
I know
you
that.
guys.
Either way, the point is
Yeah.
it's this
Well,
tradition that Matt.
Now that you said that, Greg, I
Semantics.
take it back.
Yeah, it's this tradition that Matt is very unhappy with, and I get it, you guys. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's like it totally makes sense to me.
Here's-
I'm just saying that it's not all that different than any other crazy, wacky tradition that has no bearing.
No, but I know. Well, no, we've talked about it. I know that it's nothing sexual. It's just
I'm
It's
just
just
saying
wrong.
that it's like the actions are wrong based on current, like what we know to be okay. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as far as any other act that has no other explanation other than we just do it because it's religion,
Here's my question.
it's not all that different.
you trying to. I'm just going to say this. You trying to convince me that not that there's nothing wrong with it, but you trying to convince me of some kind of justification of this is like you trying to convince me that Sandy Hook was a hoax. Like that's
Kind
how
of,
dead
yeah.
set I am in
I
this,
know.
where
It's
I
just
have
like,
nothing
why?
to
You
fucking-
guys, why?
I have nothing to go
Here's my
back and say,
question.
or Greg, you're making a really good point. There's nothing I could say
Greg,
to
you
it.
would like to have children
Yeah.
someday, yes?
Yeah.
Perfect question.
I'm sure you're a man. I'm sure you would love to have.
Put yourself in
a
God's shoes,
boy.
Greg.
Sure. Would I do it?
You're a Jew.
Right? What
I'm
Would
sure
I
you're
do
gonna
it?
have your
Is that
boy
the question?
circumcised.
would I do it? Or would I be comfortable with it? Is that what you're
Are
about
you
to
gonna
ask?
do it?
Okay. No. Probably not. How about you? Would you like to have some children?
Yes.
Okay. And would you want them to be baptized?
Not particularly. No.
Why?
Little
you don't-
difference between
Because it's pouring
baptism
some
and
water
trying
on
to
their
suck
head.
on
That's not
penis.
sucking the
What I'm trying to
blood out of his
what
penis.
I'm
not
trying
using
you
this.
guys aren't like I feel like you guys
No,
don't.
I understand. I
listen to
understand
what
the
I'm
point
saying.
you're making. I understand the point you're making.
And what's that?
That it just is what it is, and it has nothing
just-
to do
it's
with the
just a
context
stupid-
that it's
yes.
in now. And I understand that. But there's still a difference between sprinkling some water on a baby's head
And sucking on his penis.
and sucking the freshly spilled blood off your baby's penis.
Yeah, but again,
It's different.
There's a big
it's
difference.
different.
I know.
Yes, I understand
I know
that you're
there's a
making a
difference.
contextual argument
Yeah.
that it's been going on for thousands of years, and at the time that it was incepted, it was fine. That's great.
in the same way that
That's
baptism
great.
was.
But they
They're
used to
just
stone
weird-
people to death.
Right.
The
and-
Bible still says you should be stoned to death if you're wearing clothes that are made of mixed fabrics. If you're wearing any sort of
Right.
a poly blend,
What
You
I'm
should
just
die.
saying, like any other crazy
It's-
religious tradition, sure, this one is a little crazier, and based on what
Yeah.
it is and what you're doing, yes. But I'm trying to say that there's no explanation in it, in the same way that there's no explanation as to why you baptize your kid. How are what's the explanation to either of those things? Because it's religion, because it's a tradition, something we've been doing for years.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
not saying
No,
it's not
and I
wrong. And I'm
understand
saying
that.
one is definitely like, sure, baptizing your kid is way more harmless than what the Jews are doing.
that sounds so ominous.
The Orthodox
What
Jews.
the Jews are
I'm
doing.
just saying that the explanation for both is the same.
I understand that.
And
but
that's what I'm
it's-
trying to make. That's the point
Okay.
I'm making.
So why then? Okay. So why then has no one intercepted and gone, sorry guys, you can't do this anymore?
because
because-
it's religious.
Because it's religion.
I know,
everyone's
but that's
scared to
absolutely
interfere
ridiculous.
with
Because it's
religion.
religion, man. Because in the Jewish religion, everyone is so convinced, and as they should, because they have no reason not to believe it. Everyone's convinced that the rabbi has nothing, that there's no problem with it, because
Okay.
the rabbi's got no ulterior motive. It's
So-
just a thing that we've done forever.
So if the thing that you did forever, let's say after the rabbi does that, he pulls out his dick and sticks in the baby's mouth. Let's just say they've been doing that forever too. Do you think that Jews would eventually get to the point where it's like, all right, this is fucking wrong? Or do you think that they would just say, it's religion. Let's keep fucking doing it?
You know, and I can't believe I cannot believe I'm about
Well,
to say
it's
this, but I think that they wouldn't.
That's
I think
absolutely
they would
insane.
just do it.
Oh well, and I
You guys, it's so hard to
get
say
it.
that, but
no,
it's
I
true.
get it.
Tradition is tradition,
I
and
get
Jews
it,
are
but
super
I just-
traditional people.
I suppose it makes me feel oddly enough a little better that you probably wouldn't do it, but I just
It's the fact that, like, okay, eating kosher doesn't quite make sense, and there's all these other, like, Jews tie their shoes left first then right, or right first then left. I don't remember exactly how that goes. There's a bunch of little rules that eventually someone could have been like, hey, this is really weird. We should stop doing this. But they don't, because it's just the way it is. And the
so
thing
it's literally just because they're Jews. Like all of the other, well, not all, most of the other reasonable members of that aren't extreme fundamentalists.
yes. Let me explain.
Adherers to
No, no,
religion
no.
have said,
Just Orthodox.
I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
just the
gonna do these
Orthodox
things.
religion
I'm
that does
gonna,
it.
I can wear a cotton poly blend. It's okay. I could, whatever.
It's
but
just the Orthodox religion that does it. What I'm trying to say is that the point I'm trying to make, I suppose, is that I just think that Jews are so traditional, and it's so ingrained in them. Like, for example, my rabbi, I really respect the man, but and there's no but, actually, he's a really great person, but he follows the Torah to a T. And the reason he does that is because he likes to know that he is absolutely a good person. That's how he defines himself. He defines himself as a good person because he follows the Torah and the teachings of the Torah completely. Whenever there's any kind of question that he has, that question is answered by the
well,
Torah.
all right.
But
We're
what
maybe
I'm-
getting too deep into this because this in my head is starting to go towards a place of me starting to argue with that point,
Fine.
which isn't.
But what I'm trying to
what I
say
wanna
is
get
that
into,
if the
but-
Torah tells them to do that, or if someone who's identified that that's something that the Torah wants you to do, they just do it. And it has nothing to do with anything other than the Torah says so, and I must do it. And they're happy with it. And they're happy with those traditions. And again, I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying I'm okay with it. And I would never do it. But what I'm trying to make the point here is that it's religion, and that's why.
I know, and I'm not arguing why.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I think we get why. I'm just surprised that they
it
wouldn't.
still just makes
They
me
wouldn't
go,
just come back and say,
no.
we've been doing this for a long, long time. Maybe we should just stop. And then not
Maybe
not
we should
only
even
the
just
creepiness,
pretend to do it.
not even the creepiness of it, but the fact that there's like babies getting herpes from this too.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard about that. And I'm sure that rabbis are like, okay, well, if you got herpes, don't lick his penis.
No, I know. I just
You guys, we've been talking about like
Yeah, this has been
children's
crazy.
penises for quite some time.
What the
Should we
hell,
maybe
yeah.
segue into
How long have we
something
been?
else?
Greg was hard within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm not hard anymore. I'm just kind of getting over it now. It's like too much of a good thing. It's
Not
just too
exciting
much.
anymore for Greg. That means we have to move on. Greg
What-
needs to be stimulated at
How
all
much-
times.
How much
Exactly.
time did we do just on pedophilia and licking penises?
Half an hour.
Half an hour.
So
on
eight topics left.
pedophilia.
That's a lot
and
of baby
licking,
penis.
licking dicks. That's what we're. That's this podcast, the Shit Show podcast for you folks. All right. Well, I was trying to talk about football. I'm not sure how we got all the way here. I was just trying to
Started
say.
with Matt watched a movie the other day. Is
That's true. I
how
think
this
that
all
was-
started.
I was gonna launch into some
Very interesting.
Ravens and Steelers analysis. I was going to talk a little bit about injuries. I feel like there's been a lot of injuries in
There have been a lot.
football. Holy crap, you guys. The football is becoming such a dangerous sport. So much so that, I play fantasy, and maybe that's why I'm so aware of injuries, but it's ridiculous. It's like half of the people are already injured for a numerous amount of weeks. And the whole thing the season just started.
But you know what this is going to mean, though?
More regulation.
More regulation, and it's just
but at what's the balance? You know, that's my question.
I don't know that there is one. It's a violent game.
I suppose
it is. And you can make all the high tech helmets you want, but
I guess
it's not working.
I mean, they're coming out with all these studies about like concussions and what that leads to, and you know the NFL. And I think that football, as great as it is, still a good sport. The purists of football are saying, you're fucking it up. The purists of football will say you're making the sport a pussy sport. Of course they are.
It's the same thing that all the baseball fans are saying because they started using instant replay for calling fouls that weren't super clear and whatever.
Right. But on some level, I sit here going like, well, okay, sure, you can call it a pussy sport all you want, but is it a good idea to fine Ndamukong Suh for late hit? Yeah. Because he knows he shouldn't be fucking doing that.
That guy's just an asshole. He looks for opportunities to be an asshole.
Yes, he does.
Physically assault people.
I don't know necessarily if I consider it a violent game.
Football?
Yeah. Because I consider like I don't even know.
Boxing's violent.
Yeah, I mean those where I'd be considered.
UFC is violent.
Like that's violent. I don't know about football.
Just because they're not wearing pads.
I mean,
just because they're not. I mean, yeah, I guess if the definition they are running into one another.
But where's the line for like hockey? Like I wonder, hockey players have to hit that board so many times.
Hockey players hit those boards too at like a
breakneck speed,
a velocity
way
that
faster.
Like is not rivaled by any sport.
Right. So my question is, okay, so where's all the talk about hockey? You know, who's talking? Is there not as much stuff?
I think there's less head-to-head contact in hockey.
Sure, and there's not real tackles.
I mean, even the other day I saw it came up on my Facebook or something, and they did a study of like a few hundred former and current NFL players who had all had a certain number of concussions, and it wasn't a super high number.
I think
it was
I read
like
that
3
study.
or 4, but it was like 90% of them tested positive for a degenerative brain disorder.
But I read that study, and at the end of that study, they do mention the caveat that the testing, all the data that they used was self-given data, which means that there could be a bias in the data because the people who would give that data might be people who are already worried about it. So like
this might be a different study then, because the one that I had, they were medically testing people for
this was medical, but
certain symptoms of this degenerative brain disorder.
But the people that went in to get tested are people that volunteered to go in to get tested, which means, you know, think about the bias as an NFL player. If you volunteer to get tested for something like that, you might be like
still though.
Right. I mean, you're probably right.
They were still severe enough numbers that I think it's still significant.
They're probably right. But the point is that if, of course, that's what the NFL is going to come back and say. Okay, well all these people are volunteers. Why don't we take a random sampling of NFL?
On improving, blah, whatever. And
what's the maybe better like helmet technology? I don't know if that's maybe that's the next step.
Well, and that's what they're doing.
Well, they've also said too, if you don't want him to hit as hard, take away all the padding. I don't think they'll hit as hard. They don't hit as hard in rugby.
Don't they?
No.
I've heard rugby's more dangerous than football just because of that. Because like the scrum and stuff, and they just pile all. I mean, I've never seen a game of rugby.
I feel like there's more contact in rugby, but the actual force behind the contact isn't nearly the same. It can't be. There's no way.
No, well, they don't hit each other as hard because they know that they don't have padding to protect them. And if you hit someone hard enough without padding, you're going to hurt too.
Right.
You know, so there's a theory behind that. They don't, I mean, they're great athletes, but they just don't hit each other hard enough.
The thing is that
like back in the day when they used to, they called them leatherheads when they wore leather helmets. They didn't hit him nearly as hard because they knew that they could get hurt too.
But the players were like half the size.
No, I mean, there is something to be said on that end, but I don't know that it's entirely the reason why they weren't hitting as hard is because they were just
tiny people.
Well, not even tiny.
Can you imagine watching
maybe less ideal physical specimens?
Like even 30, even 30, 40 years ago, the NFL was full of like really average dudes just running around going, hey, give it to me.
Haven't you seen the it was a BuzzFeed or something about all the different, they found shirtless pictures of all the different NFL quarterbacks.
From a while ago?
And it was like the rain. No, it wasn't that long ago. It was
just like dad
a
bod
couple
central.
years ago. No, but like half of them are like the Colin Kaepernicks and Russell Wilsons, and they're just jet, like not an ounce of fat on them. And the other ones look like Eli Manning with their shirt off, where it's like that could literally be my dad.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure Peyton with his shirt off is probably not a sight to see.
No,
Peyton's not that great, but Eli was worse.
I mean, look at like
We've just circled back to naked dudes.
Look at
again.
but look at like Peterson. That's another guy that doesn't have an ounce of fat on him or a fucking brain cell in his head either. He might be one of the dumbest players.
Oh, I don't know.
He's up there.
There's
if you ever listen,
a lot of dumb players.
There's rumors out there that, you know, when Favre was quarterback, that basically in the huddle, they had to tell him like where to run. Like he could not memorize a play for the life of him. They said they had to point and go, you go right there. Because he's just stupid.
Dude, I remember the guys that used to play football with me in like middle school and high school. Some of those guys were some of the most amazing athletes, but they just didn't get it.
You can't win them all, you guys.
There was a guy who I went to high school with who played football. Actually, he went to the rival high school. This guy scored a 13 on the ACT. If you put
13,
if you put the same answer for everything, you get an 11.
So what's a good score on the ACTs? I never actually took them. So
the high score is 36.
36 is the best
high
you can get.
20s is like a decent. Like I got a 28, and I was like very happy with that.
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
I never
I think
took
the
them.
average is probably low 20s.
Average is like 23 to 25. Yeah, for the ACT.
Did
and
you take them?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got a 28 or 28 or 30. I don't remember. Somewhere between that.
Fucking! You just had to
28
show
or
her up.
30.
Didn't
Yeah,
you?
you did.
What'd you get, Alan? I got a 26. What'd you get, Greg?
26
27.
and a half. No, I don't remember. I took it a couple
You
times.
got a
so
complex. You can have it.
I took it a
I know
couple
what you're saying.
times. The point is that I took it. I think I took it twice, and I got into whatever school I was going, and I just stopped taking it. But I don't remember what it was because I don't know if they average. I don't think they average the score. They take your best one.
They take your best score,
or they take like. There's a way you can send an aggregate score where they take all because there's like 5 sections on it. They can just take all of the best sections you did between all the tests.
That's some bullshit.
But when you send that score in, it notifies the college that it's an aggregate.
That it is. Okay.
So it's not like a one test thing. But the point is that I just got my score and I moved on. Like 36
That's what I did too.
36 is with 36 you can get into any Ivy League. Like you're
sitting.
sitting
High school, the kid who got a 34, 35.
You're sitting pretty at a
Jesus.
36. But if you get a 36, you have to take the test again with supervision.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they think you cheated.
Huh.
So they make you take the test again. And
How long is an
ACT?
It's
like
test
fucking
take?
3-4 hours.
4 hours.
That's
I was
the thing
gonna say
hate.
it's the worst.
because I was thinking I'm like we could all take them, you know, just to see what our
you
scores
don't
would
want
be
to do
again.
that, honestly. I probably couldn't even do the math
Fuck
section.
that
I
shit.
probably couldn't start to do the math section.
That shit's
College
hard.
I know it's
graduate.
been done before, but I'd love to do an IQ test between like the 4 of us.
That'd
and
be
just
fun.
I actually would too.
That'd be
I
fun.
would love to do that.
I'm sure there's some like cheap ones or free ones available.
There's
online.
cheap ones you can just like find online. But
Yeah,
you can also
not free
order,
ones, but
like,
you can order the real ones.
you can
yeah,
order
and
real
do
ones.
those.
You can get like a middle ground one too.
You know what we
Not
should
even a free
do?
one online.
We should
but
see if we
it's
could
like-
find a copy of the Wunderlich test, which is the test that all NFL players have to take in order to
Oh,
join
yeah.
the NFL. We should take that test. There's a league episode about
Isn't
that.
there only like 30 questions though?
It's not an easy test. Like for example, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback for I don't remember exactly right now. I think maybe Bills. I don't remember. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a Harvard grad and he plays for the NFL. He's a smart dude.
Yeah.
And he plays for the NFL now. I'm sure he did really well in the Wonderlic.
Okay, so if you're saying it's kind of a hard test, Howard,
I don't know.
the Adrian Peter, is it just like college where like everyone just kind of
They just take
agrees
it,
to
yeah.
just go like this
Yeah.
and be like, whatever, he can run really fast.
Right. I guess
He
he's
hasn't
gonna.
been to a class in
I'm
a year
sure
and
they
a
look the
half,
other
but
way.
All right, everybody. He's a physiology major.
not even calm slash anything.
Get him
just
in.
Calm.
Yeah, he's just. I think like most of the. I don't want to say all because I knew a couple of the guys that were on the. I went to the University of Minnesota. I knew a couple of the Gophers. Like a couple of them went to Carlson and like got a business degree, which is not like a super easy thing.
I actually
to do.
know personally one guy who is
Super smart.
He got in.
right?
His name is Aaron Hill, and I'm sure he's not listening. But Aaron, I love you if you are.
Yeah.
I lived in an apartment, the same apartment as him, sophomore year. He got into the U, I believe, on a full ride academic scholarship, walked onto the football team, and played as a freshman. And on top of all of that, he is just about the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. I ran into his family in the lobby one time.
fuck
They were
that guy.
all
I
just
can't
the
do that.
Greg
nicest
hates him
people.
already.
He
I
was
can't
just
deal with that.
such a great guy, and he, like, I can't speak highly enough of that kid.
I can't deal with
He got a
people
full
who
scholarship,
have everything.
Walked
Fuck
walked on and played D1 football
What an
as
ass.
a freshman, and it's just such a sweetheart. He was amazing.
I need if you're gonna be like that, you gotta have one really shitty quality.
I don't think he did.
One
Yeah.
thing that I can hate you for.
Yeah.
I can't.
He's got a
really
micro
don't think
penis,
he did.
very small.
Maybe, but I don't know.
He
You
might
don't
just.
know?
He's probably got a massive dick.
You can
Probably
assume what
not.
you want about that.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is the quarterback for the New York Jets.
New York Jets. That's right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would love that. We should do that. We should take the Wonderlic test and see what we do, how we do on it, because I'd love to know. First of all, I'd love to see how hard it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's just do it. Let's just do it, and let's be honest about it. Let's everyone just Scout's honor on this one. Just
like,
fucking no
right,
looking up.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
No
What?
cheating.
I don't cheat.
To be the best.
I don't cheat.
I'm not saying you cheat necessarily. I'm saying you'll do whatever it takes to do the best.
I'd like to
I
do
am
that,
competitive.
or I'd
Yes.
like to actually take. I'd do that, or I'd like to have us actually all take an IQ test.
I think it'd be fun if
should
we
do
did it
both.
like.
We should do both. Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if we did it on air, just like hooked up
Yeah.
mics and took it, and just like, and every time we get to a question, like, the fuck is this? Just like actually get upset about it. I can't win. Who remember? Is it SOHCAHTOA?
Yeah.
It's SOHCAHTOA, right? That's the trigonometry.
Oh,
SOHCAHTOA.
God.
Because Greg's gonna be like George on Seinfeld when he takes that test, and then he fucking sneaks out the window,
I don't
go get
I've-
coffee,
I don't
and
think
gives
I've
it
seen
to
it
Elaine.
at Seinfeld.
You know you're gonna find a way around it.
You guys,
You will.
I cheated through a couple of classes in college. Fuck it, whatever.
Who
Yeah.
didn't?
If you know how to cheat, you might as well.
I went to one class twice. Literally twice.
Yeah.
A-.
Nice.
Nice.
I think
no
I cheated.
cheating, even though I'm just really good at writing papers.
I think I
but that was
cheated
pretty great.
in accounting. I
Oh,
can
so did I.
never fucking grasp that concept of
You
that.
know what? It's not about
Once we got past the balancing the checkbook and then went on,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't fucking get this.
No, dude.
Why are we doing this? We got
This is
Excel
weird.
for
You
God's
don't
sake.
even have
Here's
to
the
do-
thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Accounting is not hard.
No.
It's simple addition and subtraction.
It's
It's
just
But
a
it's the
specific
rule.
mindset,
Yes. No, it's the
yeah.
way
It's
that
the
you have
rules.
it's the way that you have to think about
I
it.
It's a
hate it.
mindset.
You have to take everything that you remember about basic addition, subtraction,
Yes.
and how numbers work, throw it out the window, and completely flip it
Yes.
on its ass, and then that's how you do accounting.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I fucking hated that.
I hated
God, I
accounting.
hated that goddamn
I
class.
want to tell you guys a story. This is like one of the This is the best cheating story that I have. I'll make it quick because it's a fun story. I took sales
Why do you
management.
have to make it quick?
I took sales management
Drag it out.
because I can drag it out too much. I took
No, don't.
sales management one time, and for that class, we had 7 case studies we had to do, and each case study, a different group had to like present it to the class and talk about it. And there's a little PowerPoint slideshow, right? Well, the first case study, my group had to present it. So of course, I fucking sat back and did just enough work where the group wasn't pissed at me, but not enough to actually help out.
Sure.
So then all the other case studies. So when your group is not presenting, you have to write a 4-page paper about that case study and turn it in.
Yeah.
And it was really like it was out of like 40 points or something. And you just get those points and it's based on how much thought you put into it, right?
We just had hold on, not to interrupt you, but we just had a listener actually text me this real quick. He said that the guy that Aaron Hill guy that you know,
Yeah.
I heard from someone that he sucks little Jewish boys' penises. I don't know what that's all about.
Good. Now I can accept him as a human being because now.
I would be there's no way he does. He was just always the sweetest.
What if that was his
nicest-
secret, Ellen?
Oh,
He
most
loved
wonderful.
the
people.
little Jew
He's just
dick.
one of those
He
people that
loved-
like you run into him and you just feel warm. And he was always like,
Ooh,
"Come here,
how
give me a
warm?
hug."
Where
I
did you feel
believe
No,
warm?
it.
not even that warm.
Lady
just
parts.
like nice. No lady parts were ever involved. God,
excellent.
Aaron, I am sorry if you are listening.
Got
to
dragged
anything.
into this. Okay.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Okay,
so
yeah,
back to
you
my
were going
story.
on. Yes.
So the point is that
Make it as long as possible for us.
I know I'm trying. So there was all these case studies. Well, the second time I had to write this shit, and I didn't want to write it. And I'm like, fuck this. It's a 4-page paper. I don't want to do this. It's like basically participation points, and I had a test to study for. So I just said, fuck it, and I sent an email to the teacher, attached the document, but I changed the document instead of docx, which is the like Word document.
Yeah.
I changed it to like a WMV, which is like a movie file,
Yep.
which totally corrupts the document. So
Sure.
I sent it to him in an email, and I was like, "Hey, here it is, right? I just send it in, whatever, right?" And then are we gonna?
Yeah, we actually got a caller.
fuck this story anyway. No one cares.
Craig sucks.
Joe?
Hey guys,
Joe?
John. Hello.
Do we get
Hello.
caller? You're on line 1, caller.
Oh,
We would know if
I'm
Joe
on
was
line
there.
1.
I think that what's
Caller's on
actually
line
happening
1.
is just the world doesn't want me to tell this great sales management story.
Well, isn't the end
How
of
are
the
you guys
story
doing?
just that he gave
You
you
guys
like
do the
full
pitch
points
yet?
anyway? Like pretty
There
close
you are,
to
Joe,
full
right?
points?
Oh, hello.
Joe?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey, got it.
we
Sorry.
got Joe
Joey.
There it is.
Cocozello.
My fault.
There it is. Will you have me on hold?
No. Yeah, you're good.
How we doing, kids?
Wonderful.
I could not stop listening to you guys talking about little, just old Jewish men sucking off little bloody baby Jewish.
You're making it sound worse than it is.
No, he's not. It's just as bad as he's
Wait,
making
Joe,
it
Joe,
sound.
It was
Joe.
pretty bad. It was 25 minutes. It was very in depth.
Joe, do you think that 91-year-old woman who's running that anti-Jewish show somewhere in like Buenos Aires, you think she's like, welcome back. So in case you didn't hear, the Jews are licking baby penises now. In other news, it's going to be sunny
Why
today.
does she have a German accent?
Because she was German.
Oh, I thought you said Argentina. Never mind.
She's in Argentina because she's escaping.
Yeah, she's in
Ah.
Argentina.
Ellen, you should listen to our podcast. You
I
silly
just
bitch.
automatically turn out,
Joe, what are you doing?
tune out.
Joe, what are you doing? What are you up to, buddy?
Outside the U of M campus.
Hey, okay. Joe is actually on his way to a comedy show. Joe, tell us a little bit about what this show is like.
It's a comedy show on the campus of the University of Minnesota, and it is no jokes. It's all about crowd work only, just crowd work.
That sounds fun.
Fun.
So it's a ton of fun.
You
I
should
roam
see if
the
you could. You
campus.
should see if you could work in something about Jews sucking blood dicks.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally do a bunch of stuff on that.
Yeah. Just like
see just how uncomfortable you can
just
make everyone.
just be like, hey, you guys. So who here is circumcised?
Yeah, you know what? No, I should ask who here is Jewish, and then if I see the boys, I'm like, oh, you know what? You got blue by an old Jewish guy.
You got blue.
'Cause I know.
blown.
You got blue.
They got
Blown.
blue when they had a bloody dick. They had like some sort of
Blue ball
the
situation.
one time menstrual cycle thing that they have when they're little
One-time
Jewish boy babies.
menstrual cycle.
What? Yeah.
It was their time of the month.
Well, yeah. I mean, at least they
I
only have
like
to deal
11
with that
months.
once then.
Wait, shouldn't you
Instead
be
of
in the
every
show
month.
right now? Doesn't it start at 8? What are you doing?
I'm standing outside. I wanted to call you guys before I went inside.
Hey.
Well, Joe, thank you for giving us a call. You've missed a very
Yeah.
spirited conversation about pedophilia and children
no, I listened
penises
to
and
it.
a little bit of football talk. But thank you for
That's
calling
why I
in.
didn't call in
my
because
friend.
you guys were just on a tear.
I don't
Where-
know what Matt's doing. Matt keeps fidgeting with shit. Just keep
So yeah,
fidgeting
have a
with
great night,
shit.
guys. I'll see you soon.
We
I'll see
certainly
you on
will.
Tuesday. We'll get
Yes.
this party started.
Matt,
Yeah.
what are you
Later,
doing
guys.
here, buddy?
Bye,
Nice
Joe.
Bye, kids.
Touch
Bye,
it.
Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you. What? Okay. Well, so that was Joe Cocozello, the one that is now Ellen.
Yes.
Or Ellen
Yes.
is now Joe. I don't know who came first.
No one knows.
Who came first, the Joe or the Ellen? Well, we
It's a
actually know
mystery.
it's Joe. It's
He is
by
older
a
than I
lot,
am,
by
yeah.
like by a
By,
few
like,
years.
the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
Really.
So Matt is still fidgeting with my phone, doing some shit over there. I'm not sure what it is.
I bet he's finding all the nudies.
What the fuck are you doing?
All the nudies.
Keep going.
What's happening?
I'm just trying to. It's something's not goal. You're interrupting.
I'm interrupting the show.
You are interrupting the show.
What else do we want to talk about? I mean, we covered the
What was this
Muslim
about?
clock
Okay,
kid.
so earlier someone said to me that they raped Donald Trump to death on South Park.
Yes.
I didn't see the
This
episode.
makes me so happy.
I'll get to it in a second.
Not that anyone deserves that, but South Park just makes me happy.
You guys, that's what I love about South Park is that they've established so much trust with their fan base that no one is giving them shit about anything.
Well,
they can
here's why. I
literally
don't
do
think it's
anything.
trust so much as no one is safe. They'll make fun of Jews. They'll make fun of Catholics. They'll make fun of white, black, Latina, anyone.
Right.
No one is safe. I mean, they make fun of mentally disabled people. I mean,
Yeah, but that's the
it's-
point is that they've established so
you
much
can't
like
get mad and say, hey, you can't do that when they do it to literally everybody. You are not safe. I think that's why.
I'm so distracted. I
Craig
can't
is
help
like
it. I
a
gotta know
child
what the
who
fuck is
forgot to
going
take his
on.
Adderall this morning or something.
You know what? The thing is that I haven't seen enough South Park to know, but it feels like to me they've done what good comedy should do.
Yes.
They've set up the fact that they've set up the fact that they are going to attack everyone, and they've established the fact that they don't care if they're offensive.
Yeah.
And people have established the fact that they're just not going to complain because they're not going to stop.
You
So
can't. Yeah. If
there's
anything, it's
something
just
about
going to
that.
spur them on. It's not going to make them change their minds. It's just going to make them go, okay, fuck you. We're going to go farther.
Right.
I didn't actually watch the episode, but I thought it was pretty funny
That's hilarious.
from what I saw. And then they had like another portion on that too, where I guess like Caitlyn Jenner was riding with like Mr. Garrison, and like
Right.
they hit
Oh,
someone.
no.
Maybe the whole point of the show.
And like Caitlyn's like face was like to begin with, like it would just like was all fucked up, like it just didn't look right, like plastic
Oh.
surgery disaster.
Maybe that's the whole thing is if they're relevant enough and fast enough and funny enough, no one's going to be
Which
upset.
they always are. I
Right.
mean, they rate those episodes the week of, which
is
just
crazy.
unheard of.
That's
yeah, that's
crazy.
insane.
To not only
something will
write them,
happen
but
the day
animate them
before
that
it airs,
quickly.
and they'll change 8 minutes of the show just to
Right.
address something that happened yesterday,
Right.
which is insane.
Yeah.
So
The
I don't know.
thing
I wish
is-
I wish I watched more of it when I was younger. I just never got into it. I was just super into Family Guy and like all the other shows. And like, it's not that I don't like South Park. I just never got into it. I really wish I
You
had.
should get into
I've
it.
seen enough episodes that I know it's really funny, and I really enjoyed the episodes that I've seen. But I never I just never started from the beginning and watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that anyone has.
The thing is, like,
How many seasons are there? Like 15?
Oh my
16?
God, there's a
bordering,
ton.
like 22.
Yeah.
We're talking
Something.
Simpsons-esque like that long?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it's
It's
that much.
close.
Probably 15 years.
It's more
Wow.
than that.
Because I remember it was at least on when I was probably a sophomore in high school. So, God, probably getting close to 20 years.
I was gonna say I feel like it's
a bit
closer to
longer?
20 than 15. I think they're
Yeah.
on 17, 18 maybe.
Oh my God. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say the reason why I was up is because our show is not recognizing on Periscope in the map. And I think the reason is because it has shit in the title for Periscope, and maybe they monitor profanity.
Right.
So I will reset
We
it
can
right
use
now to SSL live, and then it should pop up in
Or some
Hopkins, Minnesota.
asterisks.
Yeah, we put an asterisk instead of the I.
There you go.
Yeah.
Talk
Wait,
amongst
so
yourselves.
so you're saying that it just doesn't show it, like it just stopped playing?
Yeah, it does not. It says location unknown, and I think it's the reason is because it has the word shit in it.
Unless, or maybe I just turned off the location services.
No,
for it.
I don't think so. It's not showing up. When I do it on mine, it doesn't show up on mine either.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
either way.
Yeah, just do an asterisk
Yeah,
for it. I can.
yeah, I'll
I mean, I
reset
can
it.
reset it up on mine too if you want.
Yeah,
Or
why don't you give me your phone?
okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. When you got up earlier and you're like just fucking around, I'm like, what? How, I want to help. Like,
Yeah,
just
but
tell
you
me how
can't
to
just
help.
sit and talk to him.
That's why I can do it on yours too.
Here you go.
That's why I was just like,
Shit show
Podcast.
podcast.
Let's get this back online, Maddie.
is your location there?
It looks like it, right?
Oh no, precise location showing off. Precise location showing on.
See, it has nothing to
Greg
do with that.
Sucks. You can't do anything right.
What? You're.
It's okay.
I'm done with my beer.
You should get another one.
Talk amongst yourselves.
How about another one?
Yeah.
Hey, another beer. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
So, anyway, how about the weather?
It's been weather. There's been some times of precipitation and some times of no precipitation.
Not
and,
today. It's been entirely precipitation.
It has
today,
been entirely precipitation today. Yes.
but a really uncomfortable amount.
Yeah, it was never really like raining.
Yeah, it's like you
It
just want to
wasn't
be
even
like.
like sprinkling.
Yeah, you
it
just
was
wanna be
just
like,
like,
"Hey,
every
God,
once in a while
pick
you get
one."
hit in the eyeball
Yeah.
with a raindrop.
It was
the
just kinda like, pick
entire
one, you know,
day.
like-
yeah.
Oh,
It
Matt,
was
do I
weird.
need to tip you?
We have literally really gotten to the point where we're talking about the weather, Greg.
No, we did that
Well, that
already.
was a joke at first.
Okay, all right. No, that news story that I saw. This pertains to you too, Greg, because you're Jewish.
Woo!
Craig's a Jew.
That news story that I saw where they were talking about. So what was yesterday? Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
Okay. They put on on their news. I'll see if I can maybe pull up a clip of this or not. But the news station posted, it's like National Yom Kippur or whatever, but they used one of the stars from when the Jews used to wear in the concentration camps.
Yeah,
as
I
the
heard about
logo.
that. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
heard
I'll
about
look it up.
this. They
The
use,
yellow
like,
stars?
Yes.
The yellow star, yeah.
Yes. Like, fucking idiots.
Which news network? That's dumb.
It had to be local. I
Was
can't
it
imagine.
Fox News?
No,
That's
they love the
dumb.
Jews.
That is so dumb. You gotta like know your history, you guys. You know, like, hey, it's
It's not even
national.
knowing history. That's just don't be a fucking idiot.
Hey, National Pride Day, pink triangle. You know,
Oh,
it's weird. I'm not very religious, but I did Yom Kippur yesterday. I fasted all day, and it was hard. I can be honest. It was really difficult. It
you were
was not,
very sad by the
I
end of
was
the day.
very sad by the end of the night because I was dehydrated and I was super
Oh, so
hungry.
shit, you didn't drink or eat.
Yeah, all
Wow,
day, man.
Look at you.
I just did it, you know, and my friend asked me the same question. My roommate was like, "Why did you do it? Like, are you really that religious?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Well, then what's the fucking point?" And for me, it just comes down to like, kind of like what we were talking about last night. I just wanted to do it just to like, it's like the one thing that I do for myself. It's like a big reset button for the year. It just
It's
allows
like New Year's.
Yeah, it
when
just- it
everyone
allows
is like, I'm
me-
gonna change everything.
well, and
But
that's
not even that.
that's why Yom Kippur is right after Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah
I
is the new
suppose
year.
It was just the Jewish New Year. Wasn't
And
it?
then Yom Kippur is the time for you to think about the past year, understand, you know, what you did well, what you didn't do well, and then, you know, and then atone for the sins and atone for the bad stuff you did,
Yeah.
and then turn over a new leaf. And so that's how I look at it. Like I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity and the ability to eat whatever I want, whenever I want, with really no moderation. And that's something that I take for granted all the time.
Yeah.
But what I do on Yom Kippur is I take that away and I go, man, it's such a blessing that I can do that. And then it makes me think of all the other things that I get and I have all the time.
Everyone in America should be like, it should be like mandatory Yom Kippur.
Yeah, just take a day and stop eating and just like recognize the fact that like you'll survive. I survived. It was
Yeah.
hard, but I survived.
Yeah.
You know, your body doesn't need all that stuff. And the thing about Yom Kippur too is that if you medically need to eat, then it's okay.
Sure.
Like, for example, in the morning, I had a drink of water because my throat was just very dry. And like medically speaking, I had to drink something or I wouldn't have been able to function
that
that
happens
day.
in a lot of different ways. I mean,
Right.
um,
If you're sick or
Muslims
something,
aren't
yeah.
Muslim. Like one of the 5 pillars of Islam is that you have to take a trip to Mecca in your lifetime. But if
You
money
can't.
or health problems
Right.
don't allow for it, then that's okay. They're not trying
Right.
to like make you
Right.
die. Which did everyone hear that like 700 some people just died at Mecca from a stampede?
What stampede? Like people stampede?
People like
stampede?
there were so
I
many
saw a
people
story. I
because it
didn't know
was
what happened.
I think it's Hajj. Sorry, I'm probably butchering all these words, but
What is
they
Hajj?
the annual trip to Mecca.
And
Because
people
they
died?
all go, yeah. And it hasn't happened quite so severely in a while. I think they said the last time it had been worse than this was like 1990 and 1,400 people died. But so many people go that they flood the streets and they set up camps in the streets and they all make their way in the same direction. But there was a stampede it was yesterday or the day before or something. And the body count was up to like 700 some. People
Holy
died
shit.
making a pilgrimage to like their holy land.
Oh my god. Matt just showed me it's straight up the thing, and it wasn't even the one that you like. That's the
Is it
star.
on a striped
Th-
background?
yeah,
too?
Yeah,
That's
Oh
that's
my
right.
God!
That's right off the fucking pajamas.
Yes. That's not even the star that you just wear on your clothing. That's a star you wear when you're in the concentration camp.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder
Whoever-
whose idea that. Who approved that?
Oh, dude, they're fired.
work
They're
there
long
anymore. Yeah,
fired.
they're
There's no
gone.
way that person kept their job. And the thing is that they didn't know. They had no idea. They had
No.
no idea that's what that was because they're stupid and don't like that's why history is so important. Everyone hates history class, and I didn't like it either, but it's so important to at least know about it.
Well, sure.
Well, where did they get that photo from? Like, that's the thing where it's
Then
like
it didn't
Google
have
images.
like
yeah, something.
Something. Yeah.
Because
Ah.
because
It's not
news,
just a stock image.
because news is so quick and sometimes so reactionary. They don't have time to vet some of that shit, I think.
No one looked at that.
yeah, but Yom
and went,
Kippur was all
so
fucking
many
day.
people had to
It's
see
not
that.
like it's not like
so many people had to have seen that.
Dude, I'm not defending him.
before it
I'm
went
just
on air.
saying,
No,
like,
I
It's not
know,
like
but
I'm just saying
there's no reason that
You had-
should have.
You had all day to come up with that story. It's not like the Pope was shot and then you got to fucking quick get
no, I
something.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the problem with news in general is that everyone's just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? I mean, that's kind of what everyone's doing.
But that one,
Argue with me. Everyone's throwing everything at the wall and hoping something catches fire on the internet.
with the media,
Yeah.
oh, they're
But that's
absolute
not-
vultures
but
and
that's not
scumbags.
the internet, Greg. That was a news
No,
channel.
news does that too.
They have to.
News does.
They do it, but they
Yeah.
still
Local
are
dog was
theoretically
kicked
required
yesterday.
to have a certain number of people who are willing to corroborate any piece of information
Well,
that
yeah,
they do.
yeah.
It's not like BuzzFeed where you can just kind of get
And
posted
I
to BuzzFeed.
stand by what I was saying before. Enough people had to have seen that even if one guy messed up and didn't realize it, someone else had to have seen it.
problem
Someone
is-
should have.
Yeah,
The problem is that there weren't any Jews in that room when that picture was.
yes, they're running the fucking
proposed.
company.
That's the problem. There should have been if there was a Jew in that room, they'd be like, "Hey, guys."
Really, no one's seen this.
Quick thing. That's like almost a swastika. Just letting you guys know that that's like one step away from a swastika.
Pretty
You
close.
really shouldn't post that on the news. But have you guys ever seen that picture of? There was a picture of that. It's been circulating. It's kind of like a viral image on the internet of Walmart advertising ham for Hanukkah. They're
yeah.
they're like
Oh, Walmart.
like cheap ham and then like perfect for Hanukkah, and it's like this. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is ham perfect for Hanukkah? For which Jew is ham perfect for
Well, do
Hanukkah?
you guys understand that? Like, that's not just one guy making those. Like,
Yeah,
if it
that's a
was on
marketing
sign,
department.
That's an entire department that was sitting there.
Yeah, but
That
they're not
means
saying
not one of those
Right.
people was like, guys,
Jews don't eat pork.
they don't
so-
eat that like at all. So there's that.
The thing that I don't get is all this shit's coming up in a room full of people. So why can't they? Someone just doesn't speak up.
I
and
think
go,
they
"Hey."
just don't. They don't think about it. For them, it's just like another
Like,
story.
that couldn't
though.
have been someone who was just afraid to say something.
No,
Like,
it's just
that's
another
a
story. They
situation
just
where
didn't
you
know.
say something.
Yeah.
They just didn't know. It's great. I think it's hilarious. I mean, I'm not as much offended as I'm like. I feel sorry for the station who broadcast.
It's so
just
ridiculous
like-
that it's almost like not even offensive anymore.
It's
just
South
like, who is this
Parkian.
stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Yeah.
South Parkian.
Who was
Yeah.
that dumb?
Yeah.
Or they're just trolling.
Yes. They're trying.
Ugh.
Their fucking
Or
news
maybe-
station is failing. They have no ratings. They're like, what can we do to spark some interest?
Or
into
maybe there was the guy that proposed it was all like, maybe he's already a really shitty employee.
this?
And the guy's like, hey, I found this picture. And everyone's like, oh, this can be a perfect opportunity to fire him. So they just let him broadcast it
Maybe.
anyway. And they're like, and then, oh, we didn't know. I guess we'll have to fire this guy.
Bill's gone on Monday.
Ugh.
Sorry, Bill. Why didn't you guys tell me? Oh, we had no idea.
We didn't. No clue.
Haven't
What-
you ever seen Boy in the Striped Pajamas? Those are stripes.
Well, that's the thing. It's not even the star; it's the stripes behind it.
Yeah, it's not. Well, the Jude thing is pretty.
Yeah.
intense.
Well, yeah. That's
I mean,
kinda
and
how you say it.
I almost get the fact too that they were like, because Yom Kippur is a day of atonement. So I would get that they wouldn't put like a happy Jew image; they'd put like a sad Jew image.
Sure.
But I mean, but still, even at that point, it's like
It's so bad.
right.
Not good. Should we wrap up?
Let's do it.
All right.
I think that was a good episode, you guys. So next week on Tuesday, we're going to try to have our first Knicks Picks segment for fantasy football. And we are working on some other things down the pipeline. We're going to try to get the whole TV Periscope thing set up so we'll be able to answer your questions as they are happening. We'll see. I think Joe will be in the studio, and we're going to try to get some guests. We got a lot of stuff coming your way, you guys. So stay tuned. Stay into the podcast, folks. We're gonna post all of our social media stuff too. So thank you very much for joining us today, Matt Thomas, Greg Berman, Alan Rock. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you next week.
See you soon.
somebody.